Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of In Between the Stitches. I'm your host, Brady Wilson, and of course, I'm with my co-host, Chase Olschwinger.
What's going on?
And because the Dallas Stars are starting to get back into season, we have Zac Babb.
You know, the last time we did one of these conversations in studio about the Stars with me, we were talking about how excited we were for the playoffs. It was, going to kick Minnesota in the pants. We were going to steamroll through Seattle and just, punch Vegas upside the head. And then the night of that first Wild game, I got food poisoning. And then the Stars made it to the conference finals and then just absolutely bowed out against Vegas. So, but yeah, the pain is behind. And now we look forward to a season in which the Stars top 3 Vegas odds to win the Stanley Cup this year.
Wow. I wasn't expecting us to be that high, honestly.
Yeah, it depends on who you look at. Obviously, everyone's kind of got their different opinions and whatnot, but there's a couple people like Vegas has pegged the Stars as the favorite.
You love to see it.
And I'm like, that never happens.
Right.
It's almost comical because it's like, the Stars are the favorite? No, they can never be the favorite. They're always a team mired in averageness, and here they are just as, one of the better teams in the NHL, at least should anyway.
Right.
I mean, off air we were talking about the New York Mets, and we saw how that turned out. So, it could be the same thing with the Stars for all I know, but we'll see.
So, Zach, let's talk about the preseason.
Yes.
I know people are going to say, oh, it's the preseason. What does it matter? But the Stars look good.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, the adage I always go back to is the '08 Lions, who were undefeated in the preseason before they promptly went 0-16. But, that's the thing is hockey preseason doesn't translate to football preseason. You play your guys a lot more just because there are so fewer spots than football. And granted, you've got about half to a third of the guys out there, guys who will be playing in the AHL. It's, it is what it is. But, I mean, if you're going to say anything, your NHLers, if they're out there against AHLers, they should beat the tar out of them. And so far, the Stars have done that.
Right.
So.
Well, and like you were saying, we are the favorites, apparently. And you got to think, and we were talking about this, and I was saying, we got to be pissed. They got to be playing with some anger, like, last year we had a chance, and we just kind of crapped and fell back in it, and we, didn't take care of business. So do you think that while we are a favorite, I mean, obviously, Boston Bruins set a record last year,
yeah.
and we saw what happened with them, and so we don't want that to happen with the Stars.
Yeah.
Do you think they could carry that, just that end goal of, look, we should have gotten there last year, should have gotten there a couple years ago, but you ran into a better Lightning team.
Yeah.
Right?
I think there is a certain, and if it's not pure unbridled anger, I think there is an understanding now with this team, or an understanding that's been building in kind of the disappointment against Vegas last year because you saw how close you were. I mean, Vegas went on and just kicked the snot out of Florida.
Yeah.
So again, you were that close to winning a Stanley Cup. If you beat Vegas, you probably win the Cup. But the thing is, they just laid an egg against Vegas. Granted, won Game 4 and 5 to keep it a series, and then got trounced in Game 6.
Yep.
The Jamie Benn curse.
The Jamie Benn curse. Yeah, I mean, I think it's like, and I know you guys will get into the wonderful things my fellow Astros fans have been doing lately. But like with the Astros, I think there's this understanding of what it takes to win, because you've been there and done that and haven't gotten over the hump yet. Like with Houston, one of the reasons I'd say, even though they're a 90-win team, why they could still win the World Series this year is because they've been to 4 World Series in the last 6-7 years and won 2.
Yeah.
1.5.
Hear the trash in the background.
But point being is they've been there and they have one legitimate and one illegitimate ring. And and I think that's the thing with the Stars now is since 2019 they've been to the conference finals twice. In their last 4 playoff exits, they have been eliminated by the eventual Cup champion 3 times. So you can look literally at the team on the other side of the bench to see that's what we got to do to win a Stanley Cup.
Right.
And they, granted it was the second round. I say that, I'm actually make that 4 of the last 5 because I'm completely neglecting the 2020 when they actually made the Cup and lost to Tampa. So, 2019, you were probably a Game 7 overtime goal in the second round against St. Louis away from beating the eventual Cup champ St. Louis. You go to the finals against Tampa, you lose. You get knocked out by Vegas, who goes on to win the Stanley Cup. So it's right there in front of you. And I always go back to a story that Wayne Gretzky said right before the Oilers dynasty took off in the 80s, because this was the Oilers dynasty started at the end of the infamous Calgary Flames dynasty when Calgary won 4 straight Stanley Cups from 1980 through 1983. And the Oilers were the team that finally ended their dynasty in 1984. And Gretzky always tells the story of when they got beaten 83, which was the fourth cup of the Flames dynasty. When they were playing in Calgary, the locker rooms were such that for Edmonton to leave the Saddle Dome to get on the bus to go back to Edmonton after they lost I want to say they got swept in 83. Wayne Gretzky got swept.
Crazy to think about.
Yeah. And so, however, when you walk out of the Saddle Dome to get to the buses to go back to Edmonton, you had to walk by Calgary's locker room. Like, there's no avoiding it. From where the visiting locker room is to where the exit of the stadium is, you were walking right by Calgary's locker room. And Gretzky says he looks in at the locker room thinking they're going to see dancing and celebrating and all this, we just, beat the Oilers. We've won 4 straight Stanley Cups. Rock on. Let's go at the top of the world. And he peeks in the locker room as they walk by on their way out of the building, and everyone is just exhausted, like dead. They just won their 4th straight Stanley Cup, and he's like, I'm looking over there, and like all these guys are just not the. I said all that. I said all that, and I just realized it's not the Flames; it's the Islanders.
Oh,
okay.
So yeah,
everything I said, forget about. When I say Calgary, I meant New York.
Okay, we'll be all right.
Okay,
we'll be all right.
So they walk past at the Coliseum, because I was like, it's not the Saddle Dome. They walk past the locker room at the Coliseum on Long Island, and the locker rooms are such. And so Billy Smith and Brian Trottier and all these guys are just dead because they've laid it all on the line to win the Stanley Cup. And they go, and Gretzky says, they go into the 1984-85 season, or 83-84, and they're like, we can't just play anymore. Like, we have to be beat up mentally, physically, whatever, to win a Stanley Cup. Right? And the Oilers promptly won for the next 6 Stanley Cups.
Well, and
so to put a bow on that, I think the Stars are kind of seeing that as we've gotten eliminated 4 of the last 5 times by the eventual Cup champion. You can just look across the ice and say that's what's got to happen to win a Cup.
Right. And, to use a DFW example, to not use the Astros as an example, is the Rangers in 2010, right? I don't remember how many games we won, but we weren't supposed to be there because we weren't really supposed to get past the Yankees in the ALCS. You beat them in 6, and you go face. People don't like to say it because I think they want to think of the Giants as a ragtag team. They were a better team. They had a lot of experienced manager. They were just the better baseball team. Yeah. And so then my dad explains, to me, Brady, man, I was 2011 from spring training. It was, this is the year. Yeah. This is it. We are going to kick everyone's butt this year. We know how that season ended, but I think it's the same thing for the Stars. Is that okay? We've been getting beat. But we've been able to retain most of the same team. It's the same team that's been getting beat in the playoffs each year. Yeah. And so you can carry that into another playoff run. Like, okay, we've gone through the adversity together. We've added the pieces that we need. Let's just go win a Stanley Cup.
Yeah. And I think that's what hurt Boston last year, is because for how great of a regular season, the greatest regular season team in NHL history, 65 wins. The previous record was 62. That Boston team, while it had guys who had been there in the Patrice Bergerons and the Brad Marchands, that was about it. I mean, you look at the rest of that roster, wasn't around for the 2011 Cup, wasn't around for the 2013 Eastern Conference Final. Their only real deep playoff run was the 2019 Cup, in which they lost to St. Louis. Otherwise, most of that roster doesn't know what it took to make a deep playoff run, and that's why you get complacent up 3-1 over the 8th-seeded Panthers, who then win 3 straight on you, and your season's over. So,
for the Stars, though, we're saying all this good stuff, how they can, make it back to this, but there has to be some sort of change. You can't just come back in with the same. I mean, obviously, you want to have a good mindset, the same mindset.
Yeah.
But there has to be something different or else it's just going to be another recycle. So, what is the Stars' next move? Because we all were complaining last year that Ottinger was just tired.
Yeah.
I know Wedgwood was hurt during the year, but there has to be time where the Stars work in Wedgwood for a lot of the regular season. So you have Ottinger to be fully healthy for the playoffs.
Yeah, and I think there's an understanding of that around the team. And I think, part of what they're leaning on too this year is a lot of they've had really good development down in the minors in the ECHL and in the AHL. So you've got, not a lot of new guys coming in, but enough new guys to where, okay, I can look at the 19-year-old who's put up 130 points in the WHL last year, who can run around out there and contribute. But then you've got Robo getting better. You hope the Renaissance continues. You've got, it hurt losing Domi, but Dodonov has looked really good in the preseason. Wedgwood looks really good in the preseason, to your point of, not having Ottinger overworked. So I think there's kind of that understanding of what needs to happen to reach a Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Well, Zach, thank you for being with us, and we'll probably keep you around for the Stars, every week. So Zach should be a regular guest. And I do want to make a note to everybody. I should have done this at the beginning of the episode. We're recording this at noon on Tuesday, October 3rd. Reason being is as we get into the baseball playoffs here, I wanted to record before baseball. So, if we say something that, doesn't, match up with the timeline, that is why we're recording a day early for baseball. But Zach, thank you so much for being here, and we will talk to you next week.
Appreciate it, y'all.
Yeah. And no to your Astros. I hope they lose next time. You won enough. Y'all are good. So thank you, Zach. Now we're going to move on to basketball. But Chase, is there really anything in basketball?
No, we covered a lot of it last week. Obviously Damian Lillard was the news of the week, or the month, honestly.
Drew Holiday got dealt. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Celtics, they're going to look good. I think the Blazers made a lot of good moves. But no, when it's just straight news, there's nothing much. We're a few weeks away from the season starting. So just have that excitement ready.
Yeah, there's just, and as we try to, we're coming into the busiest month. So we're going to try and cut down on college football a little bit. But we're going to be focusing on baseball playoffs now because it's October. And this is, the postseason. We in baseball, we don't call it the playoffs. We want to be different. We call it the postseason. We got the bracket, and let's talk about the Rangers first. The Rangers.
Listen, I want to say something real quick. I know because last week we were talking about hopefully we come back and we're happy, right?
Yeah, and I think we're
happy. It's not maybe where we wanted to be exactly, but we're in.
The thing is with the Rangers is you were hoping you could walk into Seattle and take care of business, and you took care of enough business. I mean, thankfully it wasn't like that third game was really close.
Yeah,
and you got so you were that close to getting swept, which would have been awful. I don't know how to describe how awful that would have been to have you go into 4 games needing to win 1, and you can't do that. So, and we're gonna talk a lot about the Rangers here for a second. I think that we have a good chance in the postseason. I really do. We got the Rays, here at 2:00 here in about an hour and a half. We're gonna be, first pitch, Jordan Montgomery, Tyler Glass. Now, before we get into any of the postseason stuff, really, we got to talk about the Rangers Astros. All right, this is sports thrives on rivalries, always has, right? NFL had the Niners and Cowboys in the 90s, and then lucked into Brady and Manning in the 2000s, and one-sided rivalries can be a thing, right? It just is a one-sided rivalry.
Right.
And baseball had a really good one in the early 2000s with the Red Sox and Yankees. 03, 04 were just 2 amazing years for baseball because of those 2 teams. That was just, like two lions going at it. And they really haven't had that big rivalry because it's better for a rivalry when it can be in the playoff, when it can be in the postseason, because that adds the extra. And the closest, postseason rivalry I'd say has probably been Yankees Astros, and that hasn't really been a rivalry because the Astros have killed them every time. I mean, and they haven't won anything. The Yankees have always been beat, but it feels like baseball has a chance to create a new one, and that's Astros Rangers, because we're looking like the next 4 or 5 years we're gonna be in the playoffs, and the Astros still have the bats: McCormick, Tucker, Jordan. Altuve's a guy that probably shouldn't regress too much. Bregman will a little bit. You got Yainer Diaz who's gonna take over at catcher. Chad. I mean, you've got a really good hitting core. Your pitching is gonna be iffy because Framber and Javier are both really good when they're both on their game. J.P. France and Hunter Brown are both, if they can develop maybe and be a little more consistent in their success, you can bank on them and have really at least 4 good starters. But they're looking to be the next 3 or 4 years, competing like us. This has a chance, and it's hatred at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you. I hate them. Guys like Zach are cool, but you don't run into too many really cool Astros fans.
Right.
A lot of the ones I remember at one of the games I was at in September, there was a guy that had a jersey in it on the back. It said "Not sorry" and 17, and I'm like, it's funny, but I'm like, how could you be that? I don't know. I was saying, it's not even arrogance. It's just it is just, well, yeah, we cheated, but we won one, so who really cares? Baseball, you cheated. You did. It is on record, and I've heard Astros fans try to blame John Boy Media, who was like the first big content creator to go out and made a whole spread. He made like a spreadsheet of all the times who got trash can bangs, how many times they did it, what the results. I mean, everything. He brought receipts, and Astros fans don't like that because it creates this thought that, okay, 2017, y'all didn't really earn that, and it calls into question other success. And so, like Zach was saying, one legitimate, one illegitimate.
Right.
Last year they just came in and steamrolled the Phillies pretty much. The Phillies put up a fight, but it was the Astros pretty much controlled the series most. Except for I think it was that one game in Philadelphia where they figured out Lance McCullers was tipping his pitches and just went off on him. That was about it. But this has a chance, and I feel like it was a big rivalry. Obviously, we're in state, we don't like each other, but it has turned into full on hatred in the past probably about 72 hours because of comments being made from both sides. And, I don't want to get too, not political about it, but just lay out what I've been seeing happening with it. And what I've been seeing is, on Sunday, we were going in, we had partied for about 30 minutes from all accounts. And they, this is the first time we've been in the postseason since 2016. I was 12. I was in 7th grade. Yeah. You said you were what? I mean, I
was a freshman. I was 14, 15. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is a long time we're talking this rebuild. And so, of course, we're excited. Nathaniel Lowe and Adolis Garcia were here in 2021 when we lost 102 games. Guys like Jose Leclerc have been here since 2016. Since that playoff run, there actually are 2 guys. Matt Bush is still here. Yeah. Now, I know we traded him and he left, but he still, if you want to count that, which I do, we still have 2 guys from that 2016 team because Bush was on the team. And but a lot of these guys have been through the rebuild, and they're happy. I mean, Nathaniel Lowe basically said, "I'm tired of getting my butt kicked. I've been wearing this uniform for a few years now, and we've been we've been one of the laughing stocks. I'm tired of it. Of course, I'm going to be happy that we won." And Bochy come in. I mean, it was a great moment for our franchise, and what we looked like. And Astros fans called it out. Oh, look at them! They're celebrating a playoff appearance, and we're just a little toast of champagne. Because the Astros have been there and done that. No one's disputing that. No one's disputing that the Astros are not going to pop bottles for a playoff appearance because they've been to the playoffs past several years, right? But I remember it was 2015 when they were a wild card team, I believe it was, or it was 2017, whenever they first clinched a playoff berth for the first time after going through their awful rebuild, which was worse than ours. They were popping bottles. They were celebrating because that was their first time. That was the celebrate. That it's almost like you're popping bottles not because you're in the playoffs, but because it's over. The rebuild is over, and we can finally move into contention.
Right.
And that was what, and of course, and then we go out Sunday, and it doesn't look good that you lose, and you lose the way you did, 1-0 on a ground ball. Then they score 1 run.
Yeah.
But you want to look at it like, well, the Mariners said, screw this. We're going to go out there with our A lineup, George Kirby out there. We're going to try to beat them. And the Diamondbacks just, I mean, they played their B lineup. They didn't play anyone good, really. I mean, they didn't try. And it was evident by the Astros jumping out. So I don't feel that they won it. We lost it. And if this happened 2 years ago, we're playing a game 163 yesterday in Houston because they had the tiebreaker for home field there. But they don't win the division from that with the new tiebreaker rules, which I'm not a huge fan of. I liked the game 163 because it added an extra postseason game, essentially. You guys had the same record we did. You're not better than us. You beat us head-to-head, but overall in the season, you were not better than us. You were the exact same as us. So you don't have you have a little bit of a platform, but not as big as you think.
Right. And
our writers, the Astros media really came out and full force slamming our team for popping bottles and champagne and exciting and it's like, well, you guys did the same thing. But okay, have your beliefs, whatever. I'm not going to change your mind. And then when our reporters try and say, well, they didn't really celebrate that hard. It was, half hour, maybe 45 minutes, and they went and got Chick-fil-A sandwiches, and they filtered out and got ready to play Sunday. And the Astros fans and media completely just go ballistic on us. And the one that has become infamous now is Emily Jones.
Yeah.
The beloved, I mean, this woman's been with us for a long time through the good years in 15 and 16. I cannot remember the exact time when she came in. She's been there ever since I can remember, right? Through the really good times, through the really bad times, she's always been there. And even when she, thought about retiring because she was starting to have a family, the Rangers said, no, what will it take to keep you with us? We want you here. And she's, beloved in that clubhouse. Everybody knows Emily, and all the fans love her. And so, and for Astros fans to go out of their way and call her names that we cannot repeat on here, in her DMs, all of this, enough to where she had to delete her Twitter so she didn't have to keep getting this. You get, a few, okay, whatever, blocked.
Happens to everyone.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
But if it's enough to get you, especially someone like her who just seems so, even-keeled and everything, for her to have to delete Twitter because it was getting so bad, that speaks to the volumes. And to me, that's a new low. That makes Yankees fans look like saints.
Yeah.
It's one thing to harass other fans, but to harass a reporter for simply pointing out one of your reporters' inaccuracies, for going, no, you guys are spreading false information about us. This is not what happened. It's poor journalism. And then for the Astros fans just to say, well, blank this and blank that, that's completely wrong and unjustified. And it adds a little bit more gasoline to the fire. And I don't know about you, but I'm begging. If the MLB wants ratings, Rangers, Astros, ALCS would draw how many fans?
Yeah.
It would be electric. As long as the Rangers don't play like they did in that 3-game set in Arlington, as long as they play up, we'll be fine. And it'll be but I'm also nervous because if we lose that, we're going to have to hear it all winter. Not just, all winter. We're going to be hearing from those Astros fans that they beat us. Regardless if they won the World Series, we're going to have to hear from them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not excited about that. But
I'd be. If we made it to the LCS, I'd be excited.
I'd be excited we made it to the LCS. I don't want to lose to them. That it would hurt in a way, and that it would be almost indescribable. But if we win, I don't care if we win the World Series. We beat you guys. Because then it flips on them, and they can't say nothing to us. Oh yeah, cool. Hang your division banner. We're gonna hang our pennant. Right there.
Yeah.
Have fun. So turning our attention now to the Rays. We can win this series. You've got your 3 best pitchers that are healthy going. These guys are, Evaldi's been rough, but Nasty Nate turns it on for the postseason. Just ask the Red Sox. 2018, he was invaluable for them. Pitched a lot of big innings against the Rays as well. So this is a guy that has pitched big postseason innings. Montgomery's pitched in the postseason to mine. I'm assuming I know he's in the Cardinals last year. I believe he pitched in the wild card series. Dunning hasn't yet, but he will.
We hope he will.
If it gets to a game 3,
Yeah.
I hope he doesn't yet.
Oh, I hope he doesn't. But
I hope he doesn't nail
that
yes.
we win.
Yeah. If you take care of business tonight, you're in a lot better situation. Glasnow's a guy I feel we can hit. The one thing that worries me is that guys like Garcia,
Young.
Lowe, and Young
Yeah.
all have problems with the big fastball.
Yep.
And, well, and guess what? Tyler Glasnow's got a great fastball.
Listen, Tyler Glasnow is a strikeout pitcher. We know that. So, and you know the Rangers like to chase. They chase.
So we will. It will be. I'm nervous. I'm a lot more excited than I am nervous. For the Cowboys, it's different because it's one game.
Right.
This is thankfully now they corrected it. I didn't like that the wild card was one game. I didn't. It was one of the things that baseball had was that it's not one game.
Right. Because if you lose the first game, well, you're not out
You
yet.
can win two. You can win two straight. It's
Right.
possible. And you have Evaldi going game 2, and you'll have Dunning going game 3, so you feel confident that you can win that series. I mean, your top 3, I feel our top 3 can match up with other people's top 3. You just kind of wish that you had Scherzer and Gray. DeGrom is not. I'm not as mad about because if you had DeGrom, you probably wouldn't have Scherzer and or Montgomery because you wouldn't really had a need for him. So it's kind of so you start to get into that. Well, how would things have played out if DeGrom had not gotten hurt? So I look at it as I wish we had Scherzer. If we had Scherzer, it'd be. I mean, Scherzer, Montgomery, Evaldi. I'm a lot more confident that sure, we got this. We have a good chance. I mean, don't count us out just because they have a big win total, and we don't have as big of a win total. I mean, you look at the Rays, and one of my favorite stats in baseball is the Pythagorean win-loss, and it's basically using runs scored, stuff like that, some other metrics, and it's showing what should your record be? And you look at the Rays, and they won 99 games, but their Pythagorean is only one game better to 100 wins. You look at our Pythagorean, we won 90 games. Our Pythagorean win-loss is 96 wins and 66. I mean, we should have been a lot better than we were. We lost a lot of games that we really shouldn't. And if our bullpen had been a little bit better, you're looking at a team that probably could have won 94, 95 games, and you wouldn't have to worry about the Astros at the end of the season.
Yeah.
But, hindsight is 20/20 here. You feel confident with your roster. We posted our postseason roster, and I'm trying to get to it right now.
Ezekiel Duran did not make the roster.
I think people are reading a little bit too much into that one. Not that he's, doesn't deserve it, but I think people are reading a little bit too much into.
I think he just trade piece next year?
No, I don't. Maybe we'll see what you get back for him. But I feel because we have a guy in the minors that would then open up a spot for Justin Foscue.
Yeah,
easily. So you're probably going to deal one of those guys. You like Duran. He's a great clubhouse guy. I still think he's going to be a very good player. He's just going to take a little bit. He's going to be a little bit like Garcia. He strikes out. He chases so much. He's going to take some time to develop. But you look at the postseason roster, and we made 3 cuts from the roster because we added somebody else. We cut Hernandez, but apparently he had a shoulder injury. So maybe it's not. I don't think it's a lack of talent. I think Bochy really likes Hernandez. So I don't think that was a we don't like you. It's you're dealing with an injury. Let's just preserve you because we may need you for a World Series run. Yeah. They cut Cody Bradford, and they cut and they cut Durant because your pitchers and the guys you added was you kept Matt Bush and you allowed Grant Anderson to make the bullpen, who got hit hard in a couple outings, but overall I thought looked pretty good. I mean, he wasn't a world beater, but his ERA looks bad. It does, but I don't think that's indicative of who he was as a pitcher. I mean, his FIP was a lot better. His ERA is 5.05. His FIP is 4.66. His WHIP is high. That was his problem. Was he gave up way too many hits. He gave up, and that's just because he's a ground ball pitcher.
Right.
So he's pitching to contact. That's gonna happen. Didn't give up a ton of home runs. I mean, in his sample size, not a ton. He gave up 5 and 35, so about 1 in every 7 innings. It's not terrible. So if you pitch 7 times, you can give up 1 home run, 1 inning. I mean that works for me. But you feel confident with your bullpen a little. You don't feel.
I like what I've seen. I'll tell you this: I'm a lot more confident than I was 2-3 weeks ago. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Anderson. So it's gonna be Anderson, Brock Burke, Matt Bush, Aroldis Chapman, Jose Leclerc, Josh Boers, Will Smith, and Chris Stratton guaranteed in the bullpen, and then most likely Perez and Heaney, at least for the wild card series in the bullpen. That may change when we get to a potential ALDS run. Maybe you put in Bradford instead of Grant Anderson because you want another long guy. It all depends on Josh Young, Nathaniel Lowe, Seager, Simeon, Smith, Catchers, you did keep Hedges, which I love because he's just a great glue guy on the bench. Can't hit, but he can field. And then Carter, Garcia, Grossman, Jankowski, Tavares, Bochy wanted to keep all 5 as outfielders. So, don't read too much into the postseason roster. It's a wild card roster. It may change a little bit as we go on. Gray could come back for the ALCS. Potentially Scherzer could come back for potential ALCS World Series run. We just don't know how he's going to progress. But I feel confident in this roster. The Rays are good. Don't get me wrong.
They're a very good team.
The Rays are a very good team, but they have had the same problem we've had. They have been hit hard by injuries. And Wander Franco doing potentially
not injury related.
potentially illegal things. We don't 100% know yet, but he will not be making an appearance in this postseason. I can pretty well,
guarantee you that. Yeah,
pretty well guarantee you that. But I mean, guys like the batting champion Yandy Diaz should have been Seager, but Diaz was scared and didn't play the last game of the year. Isaac Paredes kills us. God, he kills us for some reason. Randy Rosarena, Josh Lowe, Harold Ramirez. Ex-Ranger top prospect, Oslavis Basabe. People are probably just think I sneezed. Nope, he is, and if I'm not mistaken, I'm just checking because he was the guy we got Nathaniel Lowe for. So he was a former top prospect. He was one of those, he was like 18 when we traded him.
Yeah.
And so, he's a true lottery ticket, and guess what? The Rays made him into a pretty solid player, so he'll be a bench piece for him. We got Nathaniel Lowe, though, so I'm pretty happy with that.
I am too.
What scares me is their starters. Even though you ready for this? I mean, they lost McClanahan, Rasmussen. They lost Jeffrey Springs, ex-Ranger great. They lost a lot. They lost Jason Adam, but they still have Eflin, Glasnow, and then probably who would be their starter?
Either Taj Bradley or Zach Littell.
Savali.
Oh, yeah, Savali for sure.
Their trade deadline acquisition.
Yeah.
Looking at their game started here, it'd probably be Aaron Savali. It'd probably be the game 3 starter, if I had to guess. It's Glasnow, Eflin, Savali, which I feel confident against Savali. I actually do. So if you can win one of these two, I think you got a pretty good chance to get to that third starter. And I like Dunning over Savali in that matchup. But we got a chance. I mean, we really, really do to at least win a postseason series. That is. And I know a lot of people,
all I want because as a fan, obviously I want us to win. Obviously, I want us to win.
I want to win the World Series.
I want to go to a game. I'm trying to go to a postseason game, and if we make it to that second round, that DS, I'll be going to one. So it's just like there's another excitement in me. Like I want to go to one more.
Right. And I think you have a good shot at it. It's not guaranteed. You were not supposed to be here. I said, and we after the postseason, the last real big baseball thing we'll do before off-season stuff will be, okay, season review, what happened, how was, I don't know if we wrote I know about my picks.
Yeah, I know. I remember going over your picks.
So I think I don't really want to do that because my record's really bad. I had the Padres, the Mets, but I can take solace knowing that I think every other analyst
had the Padres and the Mets. Yes.
Makes millions doing this. They had the same thing, and I did. And I saw the Rangers coming more than they did, so I feel actually pretty smart. I said 86 wins with the potential to 90. I didn't want to say 90 and get overconfident. I wanted to try and remain somewhat,
realistic.
Realistic. And we hit 90. We're in the playoffs, and I'm excited. But we're gonna move to the rest of the postseason now, and this is where it gets tough because every team is good.
Yeah.
So you run into they're good. Well, they're also good. So you don't want to look like an idiot for picking the wrong thing, but you also want to feel pretty smart when you pick. So I'm gonna pick the Rangers over the Rays, and I think I assume that you are too.
I'm going all the way. I'm going with the Rangers over the Rays.
I'm picking Rangers over Rays, and this is not my homer bracket. My homer bracket, of course, has us, I think, beating the Braves.
Yeah.
The National League stays the same for me. It's the American League. The Rangers steamroll everybody.
Right.
Blue Jays, Twins. Look, the Twins have the longest, not postseason series win streak, postseason win streak. They have not won a postseason game since 2004. I was a couple months old. I was a baby, right? I mean, like, they have been in a really big drought, and not like they haven't gone. They've gone. They just haven't won anything. So, but I like them. But give me the Blue Jays.
I'm going with the Twins. I know they're gonna roll out what Gosman and I don't know who else they're gonna go with. Bassett maybe. For the Blue Jays to start,
Yeah, but see, I like the Blue Jays starters.
I like Pablo Lopez and Sonny Gray more than that. I'll tell you that. So
I like them too, but they don't have an offense. I like the Twins. I think they're a good team. They won 87 games, and their Pythagorean was actually 93. But, Edouard Julien had a solid year. They got some power, but no one in that lineup that just makes, it just is a very weird team. A good bullpen, really good bullpen. They got a good rotation. I like them, but the Blue Jays, to me, are still pretty angry from last season when they should have.
When they blew it.
They did. And they've got a stacked lineup. You got a lot of experience here. Springer, people forget Brandon Belt.
Yeah.
Won, 3 with the Giants? Matt Chapman, Bo Bichette, Whit Merrifield, Guerrero, Kirk, Varsho, Kiermaier. This team can hit, and then they can pitch. The reigning AL strikeout leader this year, Kevin Gausman. You've got Jose Barrios, Chris Bassett. That's a nice 1-2-3 punch. Yusei Kikuchi and Hyunjin Ryu. Those are 5 pretty good starters. And if they had Manoah pitching like Alek Manoah, it'd be a lot scarier. But good bullpen too. Jordan Romano. Oh God, is it Romano?
Romano.
Is it
Yeah,
Romano?
I think it's Romano.
Yeah, it's Romano. I've heard Romano and Romano. Okay, it's Jordan Romano. Eric Swanson had a great year. Tim Meza had another really good season. Jordan Hicks, Genesis Cabrera have been excellent with them. Give me the Blue Jays. All right, we're not going to pick in how many games. Just give me the Blue Jays.
No, I actually have the Twins going all the way to the ALCS.
Oh, wow. Well, then in the National League, give me the Brewers. I know they don't have Woodruff, but I still think Corbin Burns, Freddie Peralta, 1-2.
Yeah.
The Diamondbacks are throwing out, I can never pronounce his last name. I think it's
Fott. Yeah.
Brandon Fott. No.
Gallen's just not ready yet, so.
I like this team. They're just not there yet. They just aren't. They're close. They're really close, but they're just missing that one thing. Can't really put your finger on, but they're missing that thing.
Yeah.
So give me the Brewers. Marlins, Phillies. Give me the Phillies.
I told you. What did I tell you about the Marlins? Didn't I call it? I called it.
I like the Marlins. You called it.
Give me the Phillies in the series. Don't get me wrong.
I like this Marlins team, but they've played really up to what they are. An interesting team with some pop in their lineup with Bell and Berger. Two deadline acquisitions. They didn't have much pop in their lineup.
Soler's got your most pop there. Yeah.
Besides Soler, Chisholm's the only guy that's really got some power.
Yeah.
Good starters. They got a good team, but they're kind of like the Diamondbacks. They're there. They need the thing. They need their Giancarlo Stanton back. They need that thing
their MVP Stanton.
that just makes them deadly. The Phillies have Bryce Harper. We have Corey Seager, right? The Braves have Ronald Acuna and Matt Olson. The Dodgers have Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts. They just don't have that superstar.
Right.
Chisholm can be that superstar, but he has not yet because of injuries. Then we move on to the ALDS. And as much as I would love to pick the Rangers, honestly, I like us over the Orioles. I really do. So I'm saying it now. We could win that series. I think that one will go 5. But I just think Baltimore has enough to beat us. Just enough. Not by much. It'll be close. I think they have just enough pitching to get by to beat us. But I would not be surprised if we win that, if we get there. I feel more comfortable against the Orioles than I actually do the Rays. But you know what? No, I'm going to change my pick. I'm going to say Rangers over the Orioles in 5. It'll be close.
I'm going with the Rangers too. Yeah, give me Rangers to the CS.
And then I like the Blue Jays. They're pissed off. They want to win, but the Astros are just better. Give me Houston. I'd love it if Houston loses. Although the last time we faced Toronto in the playoffs, I still have PTSD from that. But hey, this is a new Toronto team. I don't like we're okay. But give me Houston in the ALCS there.
Give me the Twins.
Okay.
I think their pitching's gonna win them some series.
It's possible. Give me the Dodgers over the Brewers. I like the Brewers. I really do. I think they're a decent, good team, but the Dodgers are just the Dodgers. The one thing I think is going to kill the Dodgers, though, they don't have enough starters. Buehler's hurt. Gonsolin's hurt. They don't have enough. They just don't, but still give me the Brewers. The Dodgers have enough hitting to get by.
The Dodgers?
Yeah, give me the Dodgers.
Okay, yeah.
Where are you going?
I'm going Dodgers.
You're going Dodgers, all right.
I'll tell you this, though. I would not be shocked if the Brewers pull it out, though.
All right. No, I wouldn't be either, but I just think the Dodgers offense is too deadly.
Yeah.
And then give me the Braves over the Phillies. I like the Phillies. They're a good team. They're riding still off that wave from last year, but the Braves are a juggernaut. They give me the Braves.
Give me the Braves.
All right. ALCS, Rangers, Astros. And as much as I would love to say the Rangers win this one, and I am still tossing and turning. I'm gonna let you talk while I think.
Well, since I have Rangers Twins, I'm gonna go with the Rangers.
You got Rangers Twins.
And I know the Twins have our number a little bit.
The problem is I hate, I try to stand by my picks. The Rangers could win this thing. They really could against the Astros. They could be pissed off. But I have to go with what I've seen from our past. And we have not played the Astros well, aside from that one series in Houston early in the year. If we get to the Houston Astros in the LCS, I'd love to win. If we win that, I will come on here and I will be the biggest Rangers homer. I will practically be shouting into this mic that we won. But I have to go with the Astros. I have to put my Rangers fandom aside, and I have to go with the Astros. So, Unfortunately, I don't want to, but I have to go with what I think.
What you got on Dodgers Braves though?
Braves. I think the Braves have enough starters to get through that, and the Dodgers just don't. They just don't have enough pitching. So
Yeah. Give me the Braves.
And then give me the Braves over the Astros in the World Series. I think the Astros are going to get killed. I actually think we would play the Braves. I think we would play the Braves better than the Astros would. I really do. I think the Astros have good pitching and good hitting, but we have a lot better hitting than they do, and arguably as good a pitching. And I just think we match up better against the Braves than they do, because we have the offense that can kill the Braves pitching. I don't think the Astros do. So, so give me the Braves in 5. I'll pick one there. Give me the Braves in 5.
And so I got Rangers Braves, and I know in my bracket I have the Rangers winning because I have to. I can't just say that
right.
I can't just say that we're going to lose a game or a series. I don't want to say it, so I'm going to take us. But I mean, realistically, if I was putting actual money on it, I would put the Braves to win the series.
Yeah, Braves. So we'll say that you're going either way on that one. I'm going to say Braves World Series champs. I'd love to say the Rangers, but it's going to be fun. Yeah. It is really going to be fun. And one little nugget that I saw today on Twitter before we get baseball, and there's a Trevor Bauer situation happening. Yeah. I don't know if you saw. Mm-hmm. So it appears that he was falsely accused. By all the evidence he presented in just a little 3-minute video. So I'm happy that, because I never felt like the story added up. I'm happy that he finally got his justice, and I really hope the MLB apologizes to him. I put it on my story. I really think the MLB should apologize. It was awful what happened to him, but obviously I feel that that's how I feel about it. Yeah. He's kind of a jerk, but he's also a really good pitcher who did not do what he was accused of. So. Mm-hmm. But the really good news is that this is from the Montreal Expos Twitter page, is that some people, so according to a reporter, Jeremy Filosa, hope I'm pronouncing that right, people at the highest levels of Major League Baseball continue to have interest in baseball returning to Montreal. Speaking to one official off the record, MLB sees the process of expanding to 32 teams, which should already be happening, in 12 to 18 months. So probably by 2025, you're looking at, because the Expos need a new stadium. Olympic Stadium sucks. There's a reason why they moved. It sucks. They need a new one. That'll take some time to build. Yeah. The Expos need to come back. I cannot understate this. To baseball fans who love the history of baseball, the Expos, if you don't know the Expos, if you're maybe a new baseball fan and you haven't studied the history yet, haven't had a chance, the Expos are now the Washington Nationals. They were 1969, somewhere in there. My years could be off. It was somewhere in late 60s, early 70s, somewhere in there. They were expansion team. They played at Jerry Park, which was a little park that was not suited for baseball, but they needed a baseball team. And, baseball had been in Montreal before. It's where Jackie Robinson played. The Montreal Royals was one of the farm teams of the Dodgers. So, Montreal was a great baseball town, as well as a Canadiens town. And they had some great teams, Dawson, Carter, Tim Raines. Well, they had some, Steve Rogers, some really great teams there. Blue Monday, Rick Monday hit that home run, and the Dodgers beat him, and they just couldn't get back. And then again, in the 90s, 94, they were the best team in baseball. 94, they were the best team in baseball. They had Felipe Alou at the helm. They had, Moises Alou. They had Larry Walker, Marquise Grissom. Cliff Floyd was on that team. They had Pedro Martinez. John Wetland was the closer. They had a stacked team. And then the strike. And the strike killed them. and the Expos never recovered because they lost a lot of money. They had to trade all their players. Walker, Grissom, all these guys got dealt. And they made one last-ditch effort with Vladimir Guerrero, and they traded for Bartolo Colon in what was one of the worst deals of all time, trading Grady Sizemore, Brandon Phillips, and Cliff Lee to the Cleveland Indians then for Bartolo Colon. And the Expos moved. The last season was 2004, and it was just very sad. And I'm very happy to hear that it sounds like they may get their team back.
Yeah.
And they need to be the Expos again. And they need to basically go back in and say, okay, the Nationals it's all retconned. The Nationals were an expansion team. The Expos are now kind of like what they did with the Browns. They keep their history, and I think it's gonna be great for baseball to have the Expos back.
Yeah, it'll be awesome.
It will be. It'll be cool for a new generation of baseball fans to see them. But we are now gonna move to football, and the Cowboys trounced the Patriots. And it felt like really good. It felt like a trap game, but the Patriots are a fallen victim to the horrible injury bug. Gonzalez, Judon, their two best, arguably, players.
Yeah.
Out for a while, probably the season, both those guys. And it sucks for the Patriots. But we're Cowboys fans here. And we're happy that we won because you needed a big confidence boost because this week's the big one.
Yeah.
You got to beat the 49ers. You got to beat the 49ers. You have lost to this team 2 years in a row. You got to beat them. This is a must-win game for you.
Yeah.
To prove Dak is not trash, or the word that LaShawn McCoy used. I'm not gonna say it, but he's not that. He is a great quarterback, and he's gonna lead his team to victory on Sunday in San Fran. It's gonna be a fun game.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
And we're gonna skip kind of over we're gonna go over some of the games last week. Not every game this time around. I went 9-7. Chase went 13-3. So Chase gets the victory again this week.
I'm giving myself a round of applause.
Yeah. Well, I felt like I got screwed by a couple teams here. But the Eagles won, Cowboys won, Niners won, Chiefs got scary there for a second. Zach Wilson looked like he was gonna, and then Rodney Harrison had what was not broadcasting's finest moment.
Yeah.
Lions went into Lambeau and won, which is big. I liked that they beat them Packers, so I hit my mic. That's what that sound was. I took the Falcons. Not a good game for me to take. I really felt like the Falcons could win that one.
Yeah.
Browns burned me. So did the Steelers. So did the Bengals. I got burned a lot this week. You had a great week. So congratulations, Chase.
Yeah.
We had but I think game of the week was Broncos Bears. That was game of the week. that one.
Listen, it was a good game.
It was a good game.
It was a good game.
It was rough. It was good in the scoring, but it wasn't like well played football.
Right.
So it was kind of a weird week because I think for me I was more focused on baseball than I was football this weekend, so didn't catch as much as I would have liked to. But this week it's a new week, and Brady is going to I'm referring myself in the third person. Brady is going to have a better week this week. I'm declaring it.
As long as it's not better than mine, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, well, I think it will. So we have some teams on bye, so not as many games. But here we go: Bears at Commanders. This could be the greatest game of the week. I really think. You got two. I can't even know. Give me the Commanders. I like the Bears, but they haven't proven that they can win. So give me the Commanders.
They have not proven that they could win. You are correct about that until this week. Give me the Bears.
All right. Well, Chase is going with the Bears, and I'm gonna put a separate pin here so I can keep track of what Chase picks and what I pick. Jaguars at Bills. Chase, I don't think we really need to.
Give me the Jags. No, Bills.
Yeah, I'm like, whoa, okay.
Give me the Bills.
You're welcome to go with the Jaguars.
No, I will go. I'm going to take the Bills.
Texans, Falcons. Dude, these two teams have burned me multiple times in this season so far. And so I feel like this could be an interesting game. Give me the Texans.
Give me the Texans as well.
I think they're going to ride high off their win. And give me I just don't think the Falcons have the pass rush that can force C.J. Stroud to, be scared. Give me the Lions over the Panthers.
I'm with you.
I like Bryce Young, I really do, but Lions are a pretty good team right now, and they're playing pretty good.
Yeah.
Give me the Titans over the Colts. I like Anthony Richardson. I think they're playing really well, but give me the Titans.
I'm an AR5 believer. Give me the Colts.
Yeah, I know you are.
I've always been.
Giants at Dolphins. Well, this is a slam dunk. Give me the Dolphins.
Give me the Dolphins.
Yeah, Giants are just spiraling at this point. Saints at Patriots. Patriots are hurt right now. Give me the Saints.
Yeah.
I like New England. I really did coming into this season, but they've been hit by the injury bug hard.
Give me the Saints.
Ravens at Steelers. Give me Baltimore.
Baltimore.
I like the Steelers, but they burned me last week, and I'm no.
Give me Baltimore.
Yep. Eagles, Rams. I am going to say the Rams.
I like that pick.
I'm going to say the Rams. I really think this could be a game the Eagles walk in. We got this, guys. It's the Rams. And then, yeah. I mean, the Eagles have not played very well this year. I know they're 4-0, but they have had some problems with some of the teams. So, Chase?
I like that pick. I am going to take the Eagles.
Just to disagree.
Yes, and just because I just think they're gonna win. The Rams have been playing some good football, and the Eagles have not been playing up to their full potential yet.
But I mean,
so I really could see the Eagles coming in here.
Yeah.
The Rams coming in here.
Trap game.
Yeah. And Cooper Kupp, I think, is a week away. There was a report saying that he might be back this week, but I think he's 1 week away.
I think Puka Nacua is gonna go off.
Yeah.
Bengals at Cardinals. Give me the Bengals. They have to win this game. If they don't, their season's just. I mean, great sound effect there.
You're right. I mean, but the Cardinals have been.
What are you gonna say?
They played the Niners well. They did.
They did.
They did play the Niners well. They obviously beat us with ease.
What? I don't remember that game.
Yeah.
I don't remember that. Didn't happen.
They've been winning every game they've had so far in the first half.
So,
give me the Cardinals.
All right. Jets at Broncos. Give me the Jets in this one. They got to get back in the win column here. I mean, I think this is the game to do it. And this is the big one. This is Nathaniel Hackett versus the Broncos.
Right.
It's a big game. So
I don't know. There's gonna be two outcomes here.
I trust the Jets defense to kill Russell Wilson.
Right, I agree with you. But there's gonna be two things here that happen. Either Zach Wilson's gonna build off of this last game with some momentum because he played well, or he's just gonna go back to normal and just suck, and the Broncos win off their defense. But give me the Jets.
Yep.
I will take the Jets.
Chiefs at Vikings. The Chiefs did not play well, but give me the Chiefs. Give me the Chiefs. It's Kansas City. It's hard to go against them. It really is. You gonna go against them?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs.
All right. And then 2 more games. We got the boys, Dallas Cowboys at the 49ers. And I hate to be the Debbie Downer today and saying the Rangers and everything, but I have to not be biased when I do my picks. For me, at least I try not to be. So give me the Niners. I don't want the Niners to win. I want us to win. I want us to walk in there and beat them 48-0.
Of course.
But I just don't see that happening. Everything that I have seen the past 2 years has told me that this team cannot beat the Niners. So
I agree with you.
The Niners.
But I'm also just gonna, I'm gonna go opposite from you. I'm gonna go with Cowboys.
So this is one where I hope I'm wrong. I don't want to go undefeated this week.
Right.
I want to lose a game, and that's the game I want to lose. Packers at Raiders. Look, the Raiders they're kind of a weird team, so give me the Pack. Give me the Packers in this game. Give me Jordan Love on the road. Give me.
I'll go with the Raiders. I think they're gonna have Jimmy G back. They're gonna be at home. Monday Night Football.
So
We got some disagreements in there.
yeah, we have solidified the picks. They're written down. There is no going back. They're written in pen. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for this early episode. Again, this is being recorded about 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock on Tuesday. So we're less than an hour before first pitch. So when you're listening to this, you're either the Ranger Cheers could be over by the time you're listening, if you just don't get around to it. So whatever happens, we'll be ready for it, and we will talk to you guys next Wednesday. And at that point, we'll be well into the ALDS.
Yeah.
Almost to the ALCS. Baseball playoffs, since we only do one a week, they're going to go really quick. So we're going to do our best to recap as much as we can. I'd like to do 5 days a week, but we just you can't do 5 days a week for baseball, unfortunately. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will talk to you guys next week, and hopefully we're talking about our Rangers big time victory, moving on to the ALCS.
Hopefully. Talk to you guys later.
Yep. See ya.